Let's roll into the 7th team and the GWS Giants. And with this team, there's and kind of what going to your point about having that secondary guy. I think if there's one of these teams that has that, I mean, you could easily make that point for GWS because obviously, like they have been this whole season when he's in the lineup, Toby Green has the ability to decide how this GWS team looks, how many goals they're going to kick, how they're going to look offensively, how strong they're going to look defensively, and kind of just the attitude of this game. But also, I mean, they've shown time and time again this year that they haven't needed him to win, but they're going to have him back. Also, a guy making his return is going to be the captain, Steven Coniglio. So that's going to be a huge spark to this team. I'm really excited to see how he comes out and how kind of they play him in this game. But I think, I mean, pardon the pun, but I just love the giant momentum swings that this team can bring from time to time. Could be absolutely deadly. And they are on a bit of a hot streak going to the finals here. And so I'm really excited about that. And if you look at, like, backup guys, like, I mean, Mumford's been huge to them. Even Himmelberg's been huge. Hogan's been huge to them. Then, I mean, if you look at the last few rounds, Tim Taranto has turned into just an all-out force. And same thing with Sam Taylor. So I'm really excited to see what the Giants could bring to the finals. And my first time seeing them in the finals. So I'm really excited about this team.
So, reason why GWS... Fuck GWS, you see how I barrack for, right? But the reason why GWS can't win is because they faced adversity all season. They've been hurt all season. They found a way to get it done. They beat top teams in the top 8. They beat bottom teams. They beat teams all down the ladder. You know what I'm saying? And when they really win, even whether it's a blowout, they can find gritty ways to win the game, even when it's not going in their favor. Like you said, they just won this Carlton game. They had 17 behinds. Despite the goal accuracy, they still won the game. So that's why they can't win. If they can't, I think the injury bug might catch them. Like the injury effect, also just the pressure and how the minutes that all the players in the regular season just have had to play due to all these players being out. I don't know if their body will hold up, especially going against the team's best, theoretically playing in finals. I'm just not sure if they'll be able to hold up after that.
I honestly think GWS has a great chance at winning. It just depends on how bad they want it. GWS, to me, is one of the most emotional teams. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm saying as when they all put their mind to it, they can get it done against any team, no matter what. It's just they have to want it. I've seen so many games when GWS lose, it's just because they kind of let up pressure. They kind of give up on themselves. That's why I like Toby Green so much, because he's been that spark plug, that barometer for them a lot of the year that just helps them keep their head down and focus on the win. And when they do that, they can get the wins for sure. I like GWS as a finals contender.
And for me, there's one name that you said, Ross, that I've been shocked that he's made such an impact, and that's Shane Mumford. I mean, Shane Mumford
I love that guy.
For a withered down, beaten old gentleman who just literally goes out there to be an enforcer, he has made such an impact on this team because he just changes games. He's not the greatest ruck in the world. I mean, when he runs, the ground shakes. I mean, it's plain and simple. But the biggest thing
has worse running for him or Mason Cox?
It's like comparing that's like comparing a bowling ball and a feather. I mean, that's literally the difference. I mean, one's a bowling ball, Mumford's a bowling ball, and Mason Cox is a baby deer, to quote Dean Rampey from the Sydney Swans. No, Shane Mumford just made such an impact on this team. When he plays, they win. When he doesn't play, they don't. So it'll really see the impact there. And the reason they may not make the finals is their inconsistency of form. They've been a team that's off and on. They've never really put in 3, 4, 5 games in a row where they have consistently played top tier footy. And that, especially being in the bottom part of the ladder where you're going to have to win 4 to win a grand final, that's not a recipe for winning a flag. They may win the first game. They may win the second game. But that third game, that preliminary final, where you're playing one of the top 2 teams, most likely, that's going to be what could potentially bite this GWS team. This is going to be an incredible finals because, again, each and every team in this 8 is dangerous in their own way.
And And Donnie, to your point with the whole Shane Mumford thing, real quick, I want to give you this stat because I threw it out last round after their win over the Tigers. But I mean, they've been able to win games. They have more games won than lost without Toby Green. But without Shane Mumford, they are they're 8 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw with him. And without him, they're just 2-7. So the mummy factor is a real thing.
Another player that I don't think we talked about was Lockie Whitfield. I think he can be such a damaging player just off the run and carry. I can't remember what game in particular it was this season. He really was turning up, and I know he had the liver or the kidney injury they had early in the season that didn't let him play. And
lacerated
GWS
liver.
wasn't on top of their game early in the season, and I think he's a player that helps them stay together too. And he's a really underrated player that sometimes doesn't get talked about.
Hey, I love it. I'm glad we could talk about GWS and underrated players. It makes me feel happy.